Well, hello everybody. This is Douglas Allen Frazier. This is the 28th of September 2022. It's a great day right here. I'm sitting on my front porch. It's about almost quarter to 5 in the afternoon. This is a Wednesday, so at about 7, my wife and I will be going to our church. We have a Wednesday night prayer time and just kind of the discussion of what the Lord is doing around the world. And if you're following, I hope you're following. I hope you're praying for the situation with the Ukraine and Russia. Because let's face it, it involves all of us, the entire world. We've been following it since the beginning. I have a friend of mine in New York City that has a connection of a ministry group. They're going out and assisting the people in some minor reconstruction and food, etc. The best they can do in the situation that they're in. I also have a connection with a international ministry called Rick Renner Ministries. His headquarters here in the United States is in Tulsa. His church, his main church, is in Moscow, Russia. That's right, I said Moscow, Russia. And they broadcast Christian messages, teachings all over Russia and parts of the old Soviet Union on Russian TV. It's miraculous what God has done with their ministry over, they've been there now 30 years. They've been given great and mighty favor from God. I can remember Rick talking about that he would attend meetings of some sort in the Kremlin. So I would ask you, as you're looking at this message, that you would pray for this ministry, Rick Renner Ministries. I called their office today and here in the United States, and I said, what is the status for Rick and his family in Moscow? Well, they said that he had just basically recently returned from being here in the United States to Moscow. And if you're following the news, you'll find that Putin and his government are going out on a huge conscription campaign. There are Russian citizens revolting in the streets all over different cities in Russia. There are Russians escaping or attempting to escape by vehicles into Finland and the country of Georgia, which borders Russia. So there is an outpouring of Russian support to end this conflict in Russia with the Ukraine. People are seeing that this is just, I'll just say, it's just ridiculous. But at the same time, since we have been praying over these months, we have seen, I'll just say, some miracles take place. I recall praying one night and getting a input from a Facebook Ukrainian friend who was telling about one of his friend's sons being out on the battlefield. And he said, we didn't fire any weapons ourselves, but we watched two Russian tanks blow up right in front of us. They said, we don't know what happened or why it happened, but we just know that that probably saved our lives. I'd like you to consider something. God is the creator of the universe. He created man. He created all of the living beings. And one of the things he created were angels. Angels have a purpose. They have a purpose. This is from Psalm 34, verse 7, and I'll read. The angel of the Lord camps around those who fear him. In other words, the angels are around those that respect and honor God. Fear, that's what that means. And delivers them. Verse 8, oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man who takes his refuge in him. In other words, God created the angels as a means of protection for us. I could go into some other stories of angelic protection that have taken place in various situations around the world, particularly for missionaries. But you know, God created those angels for you and me. As long as we know and have received Jesus Christ as our Savior, or have been worshiping and proclaiming God as being ours, because we read in Psalm, now that was a Psalm of David. He followed. He was a man after God's heart. But this is what it says in the book of Hebrews. Of the angels, he says, and this is in Hebrews 1, of the angels, he says, he makes his angel spirits and his servants a flame of fire. But to the Son, that's Jesus. But to the Son, he says, your throne, O God, lasts forever and ever. A scepter of righteousness is the scepter of your kingdom. You have loved righteousness and hated wickedness. Therefore, God, your God, has anointed you with the oil of gladness more than your companions. You see, God has a specific place for each of us. And one of the things they said at the end of Hebrews 1 is this. Verse 13. But to which of the angels did he at any time say, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool? Now he's speaking directly to Jesus, who now sits upon the throne in heaven. But get this, verse 14. Are they not all ministering spirits sent out to minister to those who will inherit salvation? God has a purpose for his angels, and they're meant for us. They're about for those who have inherited salvation. If you have proclaimed and believed that Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, you have inherited your salvation in Jesus Christ. May you be blessed this day, and may you, even in situations, call out, God, I need your angels. And we have protective angels. I know in one particular place in India, we were traveling down a road at night. All of a sudden, a very big truck, we call it an 18-wheeler, they call it there a lorry. It was coming directly at us. And one of the passengers that was with us just said, "Oh, Jesus, save us." The next thing we knew, that truck moved over to the side of the road, and we just barely passed by it. Did an angel move the truck out of the road or out of our way? I'm not saying he didn't, that's for sure. But I know God's hand was upon us, and God's hand is upon you when you call out his name, Jesus. We'll see you again. Tight lines and cast on the right side.